I'm here to get people fired up to defeat this technocracy. I'm Alex Jones. Here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. That's 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Back Sundays, 4 to 6 Central. It is 5:21 and 26 seconds, and that's what you're listening to. Central Time, 3:21 Pacific, 4:21 Mountain, or I should say Montana time. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. And joining us is Peter Glidden, BSND, naturopathic doctor and host of the Fire Your MD Now, right here on the GCN Radio Network. Dr. Glidden received his BS degree from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. He earned an ND from Bastyr University in Seattle, Washington. He is a member of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians and the Illinois Association of Naturopathic Physicians. And he's a syndicated radio host, been all over national TV. I'll leave it at that. He joins us here today, ladies and gentlemen, to get into glad tidings. Glad tidings for rebel forces. The Death Star was destroyed. Unfortunately, Darth Vader escaped. No. LA Times says Proposition 37 likely to pass. Polls, scientific polls, an index of them, are running 2-to-1, saying, hey, yeah, can we just know if something's got growth hormone in it? Hey, can we know it's got pesticide in it, that it grows its own pesticide? Hey, that corn that's got other insect genes in it, can I know about that? I know it sterilizes the guinea pigs, and that's the whole plan, but can I please? No, you can't know. You're evil. The American people, folks, are the only people that put up with this, and that's one reason we've got the lowest IQs now. We're the dumbest with highest cancer rates. I mean, they're killing us coming and going, but this is good news. I want to talk to them about this and, again, the history of the modern medical system condensed that we're under, and then ways not only to avoid this garbage, but ways that the establishment knows full well. You know, it came out in, even Reuters and the Daily Telegraph a decade ago, and since then more, that Monsanto at any of their laboratories, their scientists refuse to have GMO. Just type in GMO cafeterias, Monsanto cafeterias don't allow GMO. Just don't believe me. Look at it now. Type it in now. Check it. Now this is getting a lot of attention. So the worm is starting to turn, but the empire, hence the Star Wars analogies, are striking back. They don't want you to be able to know. They've even sued natural milk dairy companies that label non-GMO. They're like, you're not allowed privately to say there's no GMO, you scum. You don't tell the scum Americans that it doesn't have hormones or poison in it, or the cows are taken care of, you filth. Who do you think you are, you filthy American? We're watching you. You want an Obama phone? How about that? How about I have your soul for an Obama phone? How about your eyes? How about your freedom? How about your future? Because we love you. Doc, I'm a little bit wound up this Sunday, you extremist. But there's a lot of extremists, too, all over the country and the world. People want to know if the corn they're buying grows its own pesticide that kills bugs. They think maybe that might not be good for their kids. Dr. Glidden, and I'm sure you agree with these extremists.
Keep up the good work, brother. You know, we're all in the same boat here. All you have to do with this proposition in California is follow the money. Who's against it? Monsanto donated $7,100,000 at DuPont, Dow, Bayer, BASF, Plant Science, PepsiCo, and Nestle. Just follow the money. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's unbelievable the extent that corporations will go to pull the wool over our eyes, and we sit back and do nothing about it. Thank God for this proposition. Thank God for California, and thank God for the Alex Jones radio show.
Thank God for someone evil like you that thinks we should be able to label something and know what's in it. What excuses do you have for yourself, Dr. Glidden?
It's unbelievable, man. All we want to do is get the companies to tell us that they're messing with the genetic material of the plants. And, oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, no, that's going to create billions of dollars of frivolous lawsuits, billions of dollars.
And it's going to create choice, and it's going to create freedom, and we don't need that.
It is unbelievable. You know, you couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, Orwell, right? If Orwell was alive and saw this stuff going on today, he'd be jumping for joy, because you can't make deception of this amount, of this degree up. You just can't make it up. It's unbelievable.
Let's break down the fight in California right now. And yeah, I saw it's like $25 million now by Monsanto and others. Their average contribution by the Richies is $600,000 against all the little donations, a few million to try to beat this.
Yeah, the opposition against it, 32,500,000.
Oh, now it's 32 million. It was 20-something a few days ago.
32.5, and the support, 4 million. 4 million for, 32.5 against. And all of the against money is coming from big agribusiness corporations. It's unbelievable. Follow the money, baby. That's where the truth lies. It always lies in the bank.
Obviously, you, like no one I know, is so informed on the history of medicine. We're going to break here in a few minutes, but give us a 3-minute breakdown of the history of MD medicine and the big secret there.
Well, here's the deal. You know, the reason that, and this is what nobody looks at, the reason that these scientists play God with our plants, the reason that they do it is because they think that they're smarter than nature. They think that they're smarter than God. Quite frankly, most of them don't even believe in God, or if they do, they don't bring it into the workplace. And it's the same with MDs. For the last 300 years, the medical theater in this country has been dominated by Newtonian physics, reductionistic physics. Your MD and the people making these genetically modified foods actually believe that they are smarter than God. And the MD's view of medicine is, well, when you're sick, you're screwed. Your body can't fix itself. Your body doesn't have the ability to fix itself. Your body doesn't have the necessary stuff, the chutzpah to fix itself. So all that you can do is march in with man-made synthetic pharmaceuticals, the intention of which is to override and control the inherent natural metabolism of the body. These people are all in the same Newtonian boat. It's outdated, old-fashioned, 18th century physics, and it's got to go. But nobody calls them on this. Nobody calls them on it. And the only reason that the MDs are in the #1 position in this country, and they are, the only reason that they're there is because they have legislated themselves there. Most people think that the MD is in the driver's seat because their therapeutics must be better. Their therapeutics must be safer. Their therapeutics must be more scientific. Well, they're not. The only reason the MDs are in the driver's seat is because of drug money. Ladies and gentlemen, fire your MD.
Stay there,
now.
stay there.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
All right, Dr. Peter Glidden is our guest, and here's the deal. The Rockefellers funded Hitler. They funded the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute when Hitler literally was a teenager, long before he was on the scenes. It's called eugenics. They set up in Europe, England, the U.S., also Mexico set these up. It was all the rage. They would promote it at the World's Fair. Eugenics. And they set up the health departments to take poor people's kids and sterilize them and all the rest of it. And when they couldn't do that, they said, well, we'll just dumb society down. We'll go in and get people dependent on welfare and then dumb them down, collapse society, and then we can engineer it however we want. So, Dr. Glidden, you've gone over the history of this. You're being nice to say they're following, 300-year-old ideas. I mean, it's far worse than that. I mean, you know that. Break down the sinister side of this. Every major GMO, whether it's wheat or BT corn, that they do studies on. There's new ones out just this week. Again, all the mainstream news has had to report on it. Sterilizing the rodents, killing them in these lab tests. This isn't by accident that every time they make GMO, cross-species chimera, it sterilizes and is poisonous. I mean, they know that if a BT corn kills bugs that eat it, it isn't good for humans that eat it. And then these idiots email me and go, they don't have crops that are pharmacological that grow their own pesticide. There's no such thing. I mean, the public literally wants their Obama phone.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the amount of, we rattle our chains to celebrate our freedom, right? I'll give you just a little example of this. In World War II, there was a coalition of German pharmaceutical companies, and they all put their money together. The coalition, the acronym was IGF. And these German pharmaceutical companies put their money together and they built a pharmaceutical plant right next to one of the death camps. I think it was Dachau. And they used the inmates in the death camps to work to make the Zyklon B gas that the Nazis used to kill the people in the concentration camps.
And IBM supplied the machines, those little tattoos on people's arms. Thomas Watson, he supplied those.
And they used the inmates to do medical experiments on. And you know who one of those companies was? One of the companies that was in that coalition?
Bayer.
Bayer. The same company that tries to sell your children aspirin. Now, you need to ask yourself a question. How could a company involved in war crimes in World War II be working at a profit now in the United States of America?
It's worse than that. 5 years ago, they had to admit in France, worldwide for 11 years, they shipped out Factor 8 every ampule to small children, hemophiliacs, filled with HIV and hepatitis, knowing it was a death sentence. And in the executive documents, it was funny to them.
And nobody goes to jail, and the American public, the world public at large, doesn't bat a freaking eyelash. And to make it worse, we give our hard-earned money every month to the insurance companies to gain access to this type of nonsense.
And now the insurance companies, owned by big banks, wrote the law to make us buy the health care, which they admit has already increased the price over 25% in just a year. When it goes into effect, it's like 40%. And then now government and literal death panels control what health care you get. So you pay a ton for nothing but crud.
It's nothing but crud, and unless you pay it, they fine you, right? So this is just another intention of the powers that be to drive home this subliminal message that MD-directed pharmaceutical centrist surgical medicine is the best thing in the world. It's the only thing that you need to use for your health, and everybody else is a substandard.
And they're covering up the number one cause of death now is a composite of infections, drug interactions, and other things. The number one cause of death, they say it's number 3. The number one cause of death is now hospitals. Everyone I know that goes to have minor surgeries, they go to have liposuction, they go to have a knee surgery, they're dead. Young people take their kids in to have a circumcision redone. Dead, 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 dead. But we're supposed to worship it.
Yeah, and we do. And we do. We genuflect at that altar all the time. By the way, on the front page of my website, you can get that 45-page document for free. It's called Death by Medicine. It draws statistics from the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Plug it.
Journal of Medicine.
Give people your website. What, FireMD?
Yeah, fireyourmdnow.com. Fireyourmdnow.com. You can go and you download the document. It's free. It shows you right there, death by the numbers.
Literally every day last week. Everywhere I went, everyone I knew had friends and family dying of infections in hospitals.
Yeah, 780,000 people a year are killed by MD treatment. 780,000. 550,000 are killed by cancer. That means your MD, for goodness sake, is more dangerous than cancer. That's
a very conservative number you just gave. The number I've got is over 2 million. Because if you add drug interactions and all that, it's well above that.
Well, and then if you add, automobile accidents caused by drivers, under the influence of Prozac and statin drugs, it gets even worse.
And which they admit, statin literally eats your brain. Now they want to put it in the water supply. Listen, let's stop right there for just a moment. Now again, breast cancer is the highest in the world here. It's up several thousand% in just the last 40 years. People can look that up. It's not debated. We lead the world in neurological disorders, cancer, obesity. They know what they're doing, feeding us empty calories. They don't have minerals and vitamins in it. It's all about find the cure. How about find the cause? If the emergency room had 1,000 Dallasites or Chicagoites or New Yorkites or whatever they are, Austinites coming in with gunshot wounds, you wouldn't be, let's learn how to fix gunshot wounds to the head. It'd be, why are 1,000 people a night getting shot with double-aught buck or 50 caliber? Instead, it's like, let's find the cure to gunshot wounds. Why is the cancer exploding? Why is all this happening?
Well, because the medical profession that's in charge of your disease management, it's not healthcare, does not care about the cause of disease. Their training has nothing to do with what causes disease. You have to understand this. The MDs, bless their hearts.
This is the big kahuna. This is the big kahuna. This is the answer. This is the key master right now.
They are trained not to look for the cause of the disease. They are trained to manage the symptoms with drugs. That's their training, to manage the symptoms with drugs.
So if a dam's about to break, They would come and try to hand people life rafts instead of fixing the dam.
You know, they can't even cure heartburn, for goodness sake. And we've given them $600 billion to come up with a cure for cancer, and they can't even cure heartburn?
Milk.
You got to be kidding me.
What do you do for heartburn?
Well, heartburn, the main cause of heartburn is not enough salt in the body and not enough calcium. If you start salting your food regularly and take a good calcium supplement that's in the Alex pack, heartburn will go away in about 7 days.
And for those that don't know, we have put together the widest spectrums of vitamins, minerals, trace elements, the best products at InfoWarsHealth.com that he's mentioning there, InfoWarsHealth.com. And when you purchase these great products there, it also supports the broadcast and what we're doing. And it's just revolutionary. Take Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Pollen Burst Plus and the essential fatty acids that you guys have put together, you and Doc Wallach and others, and Corey Gold, Dr. Corey Gold. What's amazing about this is that, now that we're segueing off into that, is that when they do take these, Aaron Dykes, who was, you know, had gotten about 100 pounds overweight, he lost 92 pounds in a year. He's now 8 months later, he's kept it off. The guy looks like a movie star or something, literally, compared to the way he looked. And all the products he used that I discovered, basically, listening to you guys, he tried a bunch of other stuff. I actually kind of got into this trying to help Aaron and some family. None of it was advertised as weight loss. That's what's insane. The stuff that made him lose weight, the full mineral spectrum, vitamin spectrum stuff like Beyond Tangy Tangerine at InfoWarsHealth.com, that's what's incredible is it wasn't advertised as that.
Well, when you practice holistic medicine, you know, you get results because the therapeutics that we're trained in, that naturopaths trained in, are designed to support, promote the body's ability to fix itself. Now, I've been doing this for over 20 years. And in the last 4 years, I've been mentoring exclusively with Dr. Wallach. And as God is my witness, Alex, since I've been following Dr. Wallach's methodology and using Dr. Wallach's nutritional supplements, I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore because the things that I've seen people recover from eclipse anything in my previous.
But it turns out the low-calorie, high nutrient-dense diet is what the elites are into, and it's making rats and worms live 2 to 3 times longer. Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about 1.5 years ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of Youngevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals, but the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com, sign up as a distributor, and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. The Rockefellers were Nazis before the Nazis even had that name. They wanted sciences to control the United States and other countries they'd taken over because people were uppity. They wanted freedom. They knew what was going on. They knew what crony capitalists were, anti-free market monopoly men. And if you go back about 100 years ago, it was around 1910, 1912, that whole area, 1913, right at about 100 years ago, they took over and banned and restricted the other 3 types of medicine. They discovered by the 30s that cancer was viral, sort of putting that in vaccines. Now cancer's up several thousand% on average in just the last few decades. It's up. I mean, cancer was like super rare 100 years ago. And they just kill us. They murder us. And they funded Hitler, the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. Before that, they funded Margaret Sanger. They created welfare to make us dependent. And they know what they're doing. Going back to Dr. Peter Glidden, Doc, it's not just avoiding GMO. It's not just drinking pure water. It really is getting wide-spectrum vitamins and minerals. But even the vitamins they've got are synthetic. What is the difference between the wide spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and products for everything you can imagine that we have at InfoWarsHealth.com or InfoWarsTeam.com if you want to be a distributor on all the products and get discounts and get free shipping, InfoWarsTeam.com. What is the difference between the products that Dr. Wallach and Dr. Corey Gold and yourself and others have worked on, one of the biggest companies now in the country when it comes to alternative medicine and healthcare, vitamins, minerals, you name it. What is the difference between what you guys have developed that has such incredible results versus what even establishment vitamin and mineral pushers have?
Well, it's the recipe. The recipe is everything. Vitamins are no different than chicken soup. It's the recipe. The ingredients, how they're put together, the amount of stuff, how it's made, how it's stored. It's the recipe. Youngevity's recipe of nutritional supplements is formulated from $25 million of research, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, and 30 years of clinical work by licensed naturopathic physicians applying all of this research. This is a no-brainer when it comes to vitamins and minerals and medical nutrition. You should rely on the profession that's trained in medical nutrition, right? I mean, that just makes sense. There's no other vitamin company in the world that has Dr. Wallach. There's no other vitamin company in the world that has access to Dr. Wallach's knowledge base and the research that Dr. Wallach was in charge of from 1970 to 1982. It's that simple. It all comes down to the recipe, right? Annie Boone Spring's green apple wine is quite a bit different from a nice California Cabernet, and they're all made from grapes. Well, it's exactly the same with vitamins. It's the recipe is everything. You have to have a superior recipe. And as God is my witness, Youngevity's is. It's the best stuff I've ever seen, and I've been doing this for over 20 years.
It is something that I certainly am proud to promote because I've seen the effects. But what's sick is that when he worked for the federal government over those decades, he's a pretty famous guy. He's the guy that's won all these court cases that even allow us to have vitamins and minerals with Codex Alimentarius. People don't know in South Korea you got to go get a prescription to get essential fatty acids or fish oil or aspirin for that matter. Now, they don't know that it's openly being pushed that you have to buy everything from the establishment, from them adulterated at 10, 20, 30 times the price. I mean, they do not want people to know that GMO's in the food. They don't want you to know that there's all these things that so many diseases are actually caused by deficiencies. And I mentioned as we went to break, anybody can pull this up. Everybody's heard it on the news, where rats and mice live 2-3 times longer with super high nutrient-dense diets, insects even longer. Well, yeah, because it's got the trace elements. It's got the full spectrum. Even mainline doctors say, well, that's true, but they tell you to take a smaller spectrum of it. Why doesn't the power structure let people know about this? I mean, my dad is an oral surgeon and a dentist, and he volunteers 2 weeks every year, usually to go to Mexico or Belize or Honduras to do free medical care on street children. But he went to Paraguay, landlocked down in South America this year. He went to a soccer game the last day, and somebody threw a hand grenade out on the field and blew people up. Pretty wild. But the Amish are the only people keeping the country going, and they have the north area of the country that they developed that was desert, and they produce most of the food. Well, the head Amish guy has a program where he gives candies that have full-spectrum minerals in them, and it's ended like this, the street children that are blind and mentally retarded, and just with the minerals, and now the UN's down there trying to stop the Amish from saving the kids, Doc.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Dr. Wallach discovered the cause and the cure for cystic fibrosis. It was a selenium deficiency in the blood of the pregnant mother, and they fired him. They squashed the research, and then they blackballed him at every major teaching hospital in the United States. Wallach's research clued us into the fact that the majority of chronic diseases are caused by nutrient deficiencies. And this is the biggest thing that we need to know. Why are the powers that be, why don't they want us to know this? I'll tell you why they don't want us to know this, because if by some genie in the bottle magic, tomorrow morning, everybody woke up and there was equal access for naturopathic medicine, equal funding for naturopathic medicine, equal insurance coverage and hospital privileges for holistic medicine. Within 2-3 years, the MDs would be out of business, and they know it. It is all about big pharma all of the time. The medicine in this country, in all industrialized nations in this world, is a for-profit machine. It profits them to keep you sick. It does not profit them to keep you healthy. And this is one of the biggest myths that we're suffering from here. The false notion that healing is some complicated, sophisticated process that can only happen in a multi-million-dollar high-tech facility. It's nonsense. Healing is easy. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. And, the MDs, you can be sincerely incorrect. I mean, they just don't know this. Your dad doesn't know this. You know, the MDs that are really trying to do good by their patients, they don't know this. They're not taught it in medical school. It's not reinforced in their continuing education.
Well, let me throw this out. Let me throw this out at people. On screen, if you're watching at prisonplanet.tv, for radio listeners, just type in Harvard study fluoride. It'll come up in the search engine.
Yeah.
Harvard study finds fluoride levels lower IQ in children up to 20 points if they have it when they're a child. Massive 7-fold increase in cancer. There's thousands of studies. They've known this forever. Again, what's going on with the fluoride that they put in our water lovingly?
Money, 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 and dumb down, dumb down, dumb down, dumb down. It's all about money. It profits them to keep you sick. It profits them to keep you stupid. It profits them to keep you eating all the wrong food all the time that makes you sick. I mean, it is a conspiracy, and it is so huge that most people think, oh, no, that can't be. Well, guess what it is? Most of the food that we eat, even if it's not GMO, is bad for you. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle, fried food, well-done red meat.
People have, explain to people, Doc, they have to keep eating because it's empty calories because the soil's been depleted, but you're still hungry because you're looking for the vitamins and minerals when you could get it from pollen burst or Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
Obesity is a deficiency disease. It is not a disease of excess. It is a deficiency disease. The only thing that causes people to gain weight is we eat too many calories. The only thing that makes us eat too many calories is our body is starved for nutrition. So your body makes you eat, but the food that you're eating doesn't have the nutrients that you need. So you eat 3,000 calories at Olive Garden, and 2 hours later, you're hungry again. Why is this? Because the food doesn't have the nutrition that you need, and your body is starving to death. It's starving to death. And ironically, healing is so easy that most of the time the only thing necessary is to give your body the raw materials that it needs. Fill up its nutritional tank. Stop eating food that's hurting you. Get the heck out of the way, and guess what? Your body recovers its health. But the powers that be do not want you to know this. They want you to think that, oh, your blood pressure is
They want you dependent,
genetic.
just like the Obama phone lady. Have you seen that begging for a phone, begging for a house?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, it is crazy. And it is just, you know, sometimes I wake up and I feel like I'm in, you know, down the rabbit hole in the Matrix, Alice in Wonderland world where constant surveillance is liberty and constant war is freedom and constant medication is health. It is unbelievable to me. Ladies and gentlemen, healing is easy. The medical profession does not want you to know that if you have high blood pressure, it's because you have nutrient deficiencies. If you have type 2 diabetes, it's because you have nutrient deficiencies. If you have fibromyalgia or Alzheimer's,
well, it's obviously these numbers are all exploding. Thank you so much, Dr. Glidden. We'll talk to you again soon. Folks, if you want to find out more and see this video and a lot of others, and Aaron Dykes lose 92 pounds, they're all at InfoWarsHealth.com, or you can join the team and get discounts becoming a distributor at 877-551-1301. They will answer your questions at 877-551-1301. That was an incredible broadcast, one of the best ever today in the last 2 hours, and I'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. If you don't have a local system in your area, XM166 or Infowars.com. Now get out there and take on the tyrants. I love you all. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.